Where did you from? Chicago?
Yes. So my family and I have a building
Mm.
on the south side.
Oh, you own a building, like a house?
Yeah. So
Okay.
my grandfather and my great uncle got a 3 flat way back before I was born. And our family lived on all 3 floors for a long time. And so it was like the doors are always open. You
Mm-hmm.
saw, like, you ever been in an apartment building, the doors are closed, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But like it was open. All the doors are open, so it felt more like a big old house, like 3 flat. And so as a kid, that's what I grew up in.
I'm picturing the house from Shameless, something like that.
Nah, you gotta imagine like an apartment building.
Okay.
And as you walking up the stairs, there's a door. You know, go up the next flight of stairs. There's a door, but the doors are open. It's just like an apartment building, but the doors are open.
Gotcha.
And you could just like interchangeably run up and down stairs into another apartment building and annoy some other family members and shit like that. So
did you've always I remember the first time, not the first time I saw you. I always saw you walking around here, but I remember the first time you stuck out to me as somebody of any sort of importance here. I was in the green room. You were talking to two comics. One of them said something, made a joke or implied something, and you said you got very real with them, and you said something like I know you're trying to get something from me, so just say it, or something like that.
yeah. I mean, because like comics, y'all got a language y'all speak, and just after watching y'all for so long, it's like I get this entertainment, I get this as a business, and I get there's like a face you have to put on sometimes, but I feel like you get the best out of people when they're just genuine, when they're just real with
you. Yeah.
And you don't have to pull a laugh out of me. If I think you're funny, I'm gonna laugh. It's fine. We good.
And you never did stand up?
I have never done a single minute of stand up comedy anywhere. I have been an MC for like festivals and stuff in the past. Shout out to the East Side. It was this place they did like an East Side Fest, and I was like an MC for that for a little bit. And then I've done like shows where I was like doing music, so I was like little light jokes that wasn't shit, but like.
But you get performance.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so you feel like once a comic understands that you have some level of power or control, does something flip?
I think it's more like a understanding. Like it's more like a parallel, cause like I like rap and like do music like that too, and I could like see a lot of the parallels of writing music for rap and hip hop, and in comedy, and it's like that's why those two go so well together, so synonymously for a lot of shows. Like you see hip hop and comedy, it shows a lot because there's so many similarities to it, and so it's like it's just like a punchline rapper is no different to me than a stand-up comic. And then to find out like other thing is too, like I'm a historian about hip hop, and I'm a historian so much so to like comedy now, like learning Rudy Ray Moore's story and how like he was like the godfather of comedy, but he's also like the godfather of rap because of the way he was like like construct this delivery and like these punchlines, and like, you know, it had such a cadence and bounce to it that you see in hip hop and you see in comedy. So it's like that understanding that I bring to my job here.
How did you get this job here, and how long have you been doing this?
I've been at Laugh Factory going on 6 years. As I started out in the sound booth the first year, and then I came from a media company on the south side, and I was just like, hey man, y'all only got like 3,000 followers on Instagram, and y'all got a bunch of followers on Facebook, but y'all don't really put nothing out. You do, but you don't. It's kind of inconsistent. And I wanted to do something about it. I said I could do something about it. So it took like a year to convince them, but once I convinced them, I just took it and ran with it. And we have 47,000 followers later. Yeah. We had some like bumps along the road or whatever, and that's just what it's been. But we've kept a steady following, and people have had a lot of good things happen for them because of our social media. So that's good.
Is there a like I don't know shit about social media and technology, which is what I think I'm just gonna keep grinding until eventually I get successful. To me, it's like it's a time thing, it's a patience thing, and over time I'm sure I'll learn and pick up little tips along the way.
Yeah.
But my social media game I don't think is that great. What is your process when doing social? Oh shit!
Not music.
Is that gonna keep happening? If so, we can move.
No, I can hold on.
Okay.
I can probably turn the music down up here.
All right. Future Aaron, you might need to cut this. What is your like when doing social media stuff? What is your thought process?
My process is a lot different. I can tell from like people who are looking for likes and looking for followers and want to become the overnight sensation. That's such a rarity. Like going viral, there's so many studies on going viral that it's like less than a 10th or 100th of a %. And if you strike that more than once, it can like totally change your life. But it is very difficult to go viral. And viral these days is like millions of views, not just hitting 1 million.
Right.
Like it's
this is we're no longer in like what was that Star Wars kid with like it's not just a random thing. There's almost a science behind it.
Yeah. There's a science, and then like the other thing too is like the ethics, I think, is what I try to come with like an ethical strategy to building social media content, because a lot of things are clickbait. A lot of things are like just outrageous or shock value for the sake of shock value. It's like, look what this black person did to this white person, and then you find out it's like, damn, they fucking got into a fight or whatever. Can I say fuck?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like they get into like, it's all clickbaity. It's all feeding into the same stereotypical like narratives and posturing and stuff. And so like here with comedy, it's like I don't want to like put that in the forefront as much as like, oh, these comics are just funny and these are the ways they're funny. Like these are the ways they see the world and it's funny. Like that's it. And it probably doesn't harm anybody in the process if you can understand that.
Do you feel like being around? I mean, I know you haven't done it, but being around it so much, you have like an ear for it.
Yeah, like you kind of like so when I worked in the sound room, like I didn't get up very much. I sat in front of the monitor and probably watched hours and hours and hours and hours of comedy from multiple types of comics, and then after that, just kind of like getting to know them. And then when I moved over to social media, I got to like watch hours and hours of shows every single day, and then getting to talk to Curtis Shaw Flag. Shout out to the homie.
Wait, who is that? A comedian?
No, that's the club owner. Club manager. Get that corrected before he loses his shit when he hears this. But
wait, what's the difference between a manager and the owner?
Well, he doesn't own the club. The club is owned by Jamie Masada.
Okay.
So Jamie's the owner of all the Laugh Factories all over the country, the world famous Laugh Factory, and Curtis is just the manager. He's the booker of this particular club. He's the one that gets make the last decisions of what I post and how I post it and stuff like that.
I think I embarrassed myself in front of him. Okay.
Yeah.
God damn. Okay. Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, hey man, as always, I don't believe in first impressions. I believe in making a statement. This ain't even my water.
Wait, I don't believe in first impressions. I believe in making a statement.
Yeah.
Did you just make that up, or is that something you...
I just always unbelieved. I've always believed that because I don't believe in first impressions. I think first impressions are whack because it's never a good interpretation of a person. Because you're thinking that's to say that you only have one chance to meet this person and like make an impression on them. And it's like, I've met so many people and like don't remember them. No matter how great of it, I could have spent all night with them, and that wasn't the night that
it clicked.
Yeah,
that, but yeah.
Because then you could see, and other thing is you could see that person the next time. We're like, damn, that guy's an asshole, or that person's an asshole, or whatever the fuck. So it's like, if you make a statement with someone, that's something they'll probably carry along with them.
When you say make a statement, what do you mean? Also, what's your last name?
Bright, Bright. Making a statement is like claiming your space, claiming who you are, and being unshakable.
and just who you are as a person.
And who you are as a person, in the spaces and places you put yourself in the rooms that you happen to entertain.
I would assume, and I'm sure you get this a lot, that people think you're younger than you actually are.
Yes, everyone thinks I'm very young.
I would have thought you were I'm 30.
Mm-hmm.
I would have thought you were about my age. And in talking with you, this is probably the longest time I've ever talked with you in person like this. But when you say you're 38, you're going to be 38 now.
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense. Like I think, at least from my experience, fuck my 20s. Now that I'm 30, I feel like, oh, good, that part's done.
Yeah. Yep.
Did you have that same struggle throughout your 20s, figuring out who you are?
I've been through a shit ton. I have done a shit ton, and I am still learning from all of it. And I think acknowledging that is okay, and I think working through it still is okay. But I've always been kind of like what people would call like a weird bird, or like I've had nicknames like professor and doctor and shit like that, because I'm like always just so critical of trying to be critical of myself, and then very critical of the world that I create around me, because like there's so much I can control and there's so much I can't, and the parts that I can, I'm gonna do whatever I can with those parts. So I take my job very seriously. I take my life not as seriously. And the path I choose is mine. It's not up against anybody else's. I'm not in competition with anyone else. And my achievements and goals are my own. And when I meet them, it helps me be more complete.
You're speaking from the dreadlocks right now. Did you come, like, it seems like there was a process to get to that thought process.
Yeah.
At what point did you feel like, oh, that idea, that concept is clicking?
I think it started to click when, I don't know, it's like your feeling about your place in a room, your place in the world, and like instead of like wandering around trying to figure out where you fit, instead of just, I'm gonna make my place. Make the place where I fit. Instead of looking for the spotlight to stand in and be seen, it's just like
you should make your own.
Make enough noise to where the spotlight comes to you.
I am so happy I understand what you mean, because I think I would say pre-pandemic I would have been like, nah, nigga, this is something else. Like I in coming to Chicago, I made a very active decision to be more low key.
Yeah.
I remember where I was from. Like it was years ago. It's been 4 months since I've been here, but it feels like years, man. I've never had this experience before.
It's the impact of learning things. It's the impact of like the things. Again, the statement.
Yeah.
It's like the statement is in what you're feeling, what you're going through is probably some sort of change like you weren't expecting, and it's a lot to take on. So yeah. So that's the statement is being made.
I like it. But when I moved here, I made an active decision to not bother people. To my thought process was, I'm just gonna go on stage and I'm gonna be as funny as possible, and I'm gonna shut the fuck up, and I'm just gonna wait until someone's like, "Hey man, you funny." That's what my thought process was, because where I was from, I was just so like, hey man, I have an opinion about comedy. You need to listen to me, man. This is my opinion about comedy.
That's hyper annoying. Yeah. It's not even like kind of. It's a hyper annoyance.
Oh, dude, everyone, not everyone. Hello.
Oh, okay. Happy birthday.
Thank you, Audrey.
Sorry,
I appreciate that.
back
He might be on the landing. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. I'm leaving all this in.
Yeah, the show starts in like an hour and a half, so the staff's getting ready.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Please let me know at any time when we need to.
Probably around 6:45, 7.
Oh, perfect.
I hope you can cut this pretty easily.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
But yes, hyper annoying.
Yeah.
And it's I'm trying to learn not to be so hard on myself, because it was coming from the really positive, very pure intentions of loving comedy and wanting to get good, but the way I presented it was so fucking irritating.
Yeah, I guess it would be like analogous to like your favorite TV show. Like it's like hearing somebody likes your favorite TV show, and you're like, "This is the best episode, and these are the favorite characters, and it's like this. Can you believe? Like, what is how is it not?" And you just like kind of get so excited, and that rush like comes over you. But it's like totally understandable. But you do have to like take a step back and like, man, some people don't like that show.
Yeah,
some people like that show for different reasons. It's like so many other like little spectrums.
Yeah, or they're just being nice, being like, "Oh, I've seen a couple episodes."
Yeah.
I've
heard of that one. Yeah.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah.
Cartman is hilarious.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I've heard of fucking Hannibal. Yeah, tell me more about him.
And it seems like you've gotten to a place where the idea of someone else's perspective of you doesn't matter all that much.
No, I mean, because like if you're worried about if you worry about the image that people see you in, the way people see you, like you're never seeing necessarily the true genuine self, because you're trying to fit their perception.
Right.
You're not trying to fit your own. You're not trying to be who you are.
I think that's another. This is about to turn into a therapy session. Get ready. But I think this is.
Black people need therapy.
Yeah. So
I'm
man,
just.
my health insurance kicks in, baby. I got the.
I found shameless plug. They're not paying me, but Talkspace has been wonderful for me. Over the pandemic, I had Talkspace and I had a therapist, and then I had to get another one, and then I had to get another one. But I'm doing
nice.
Get therapy, nigga. Talkspace.com.
Talkspace.com. All right. I'm gonna get a sponsor
So
eventually.
stupid.
When I get over 20 views, boy.
That's so funny.
But what was I gonna say? Oh, the I think it's gonna be a process, because logically I know what you're saying, but moving out here, I can't help but think about what people are perceiving me as, because I feel like I'm the new guy.
Yep. Well, the reality would be you are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like and that's the part. That's the part you just gotta accept. Like, you're the new dude.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's fine.
I like it. It's I like being the new guy. I like all this fresh stuff, but it's just coming with this. I wonder what people are thinking. Like I kept, and I man, the biggest thing I've learned so far is patience. In this is it hanging out here was like, if you were to talk to me maybe a year into comedy and you were to say, "Yeah, man, once you move to Chicago," I'd be like, first off, I moved to Chicago? What? And then it was like, then you're hanging out at the Laugh Factory in the green room. And I'd be like, what? So I made it? I'm famous? I'm in the green room with the Laugh Factory? And then I get here, and I'm like, I very quickly got it. That like, oh, this isn't show business. It's just the green, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a place.
Yeah, it's a room that has the Laugh Factory on it, and that's a cool place to be. And I'm happy about it, but I've learned that like what you perceive as whatever you want it's never going to be exactly.
And I think it's because like if you can get caught up in the present moment and then look back on it, because it's like I'm so excited for this show that's coming on. I feel like I'm just like a walking ad. Anyway, so like there's a show coming out called Abbott Elementary, right? And it's starring, one of the stars is Janelle James. And Janelle, I met here 3 or 4 years ago, right? And me and my partner were just like, she's so cool, one of the coolest people we've ever met. And she had a conversation with us about Will Smith and his social media. And then it was so fun. It was like a little funny conversation we had. And then she was like, I'm going to work that out. And then I was like, the hell do you mean you're going to work that out? So then this was like 20 minutes later. So the show starts 20 minutes later. She gets up on stage, in front of 300 people, and tells this like version of the conversation that we had. But she had obviously made it into a joke. And she got big laughs, right? And she gets off stage. She's like, oh, that's pretty good. That's something I need to work on, though. It needs more work. And it was immediately then I was just like, oh, like that's special. You know what I'm saying? Like seeing comics come up here, run through their sets, and you like get this different spectrum of what comedy is. Because it's like, that's crazy talent. 20 minutes and you went in there and murdered like that. And then you step off stage and say, it's not as good as it could be. And having that awareness and that ability when she was there, I was just like, she's gonna be phenomenal. I already hadn't even this. After that, I was like, I'm a fan forever, and I've been following her and listening to her. Now she's gonna be on the show called ABC called Abbott Elementary, and I cannot wait. She's super funny. And it's just one of many stories where I would admit, like Felonious Monk. The dude, he sounds like the conversation you have with him in front of him just does not change when he gets on stage. When he gets on stage and when he's talking in front of you, I can't tell the difference between when he turns it on, but he does, and it's just like understanding that those people are just people when you get caught up in the moment, when you're stuck, when you get present with them. So like, we're just having a conversation. I'm just talking to Monk in the green room. We're just seeing these people. When you see those people and then you look towards what's genuine, all that other shit is other shit. This is the other shit they just do. And they're really good at it. They're very, very good.
The thing, and I guess that's where the patience comes. That's what I've been learning here. So like, okay, I got here, and I want to say the first Tuesday I was here, I got on, and I was like, yes, I got on, and I remember reading the thing. If you do well, we'll email you, and you'll get it. And I did well, and I was like, yeah, let me just stare them up. They're gonna email me in like 10 minutes, man. I killed it, and then it didn't happen. It's fine.
Yeah,
came back, and then I got picked for the following week. And I came back and I did well again, and I kept doing that where I didn't even, and I'm practicing gratitude now, but like I didn't even appreciate that I was getting the luck of the draw so consistently. I kept talking to people who were like, yeah, man, come here for about 2 months now, got on once. I was like, God, what is going on? I'm having magic happen by just getting picked. And I kept doing well, and then I started to get frustrated. I started to feel like I know I'm doing well every time I get on stage. Why the fuck is nobody saying anything? And it hadn't even been like 2 months. And I and then eventually you and Alex spoke to me, which I want to talk about later.
Sure.
And then when Alex said it's okay to just hang out here, I was like, oh, okay. And so and then I started hanging out, as I'm sure you know. And then I got put on the nasty show. Tiny Thickums, the nasty show.
Yeah, Tiny. Shout out Tiny.
And I've talked about her multiple times. So you don't even need to worry about that. Anyone that listens to my podcast knows about Tiny Thickums.
Okay. That's really funny.
I don't know how you don't talk about.
I mean, that's one of the new. She's probably been killing on the South Side longer than I've known, but like she's immense, a lot of talent, big performance, big energy, funny as hell.
Yeah.
And just like kind of reminds me of like Adele Givens, like in a way, like comedy wise. Like, yeah, Adele Givens, they got the kind of same like vibe, delivery.
Yeah.
Kind of same raspy voice. What's up, motherfuckers? Like, yeah, it's like right in there. I think, and I know if she sees or hears this shit, like Adele Givens is a compliment, man. You should check that out. Can't believe Adele Givens black comic, hilarious,
man. It'll take me hours to get into my whole backstory with that, which I'm sure we'll talk about eventually. But
yeah, well, maybe not this one.
Not today, no. But she. And when she sees me, she's like, "Oh, it's my little Obama." It's like my dick gets hard every time. I'm like, "Yeah." But I got on her show.
That's so funny.
I got on her show, and I got in my head like it was the nasty show, and I could feel myself turning up that part of it. I was like, "Oh, I have to be gross or whatever," and I didn't bomb. I did fine. And then I watched everyone else, and I was like, "Oh, I'm not very good." There's this dude, and I keep bringing him up, and I keep forgetting his last name. And I'm forgetting his first name, but it's like
what's the bit?
It's a white guy, and every goddamn thing he says is hilarious. Sean Ashbu. Fuck me, man. I should have remembered his name.
Sean Ashburn doesn't sound like a person I've ever heard of.
You
sure it's not Jeff Asmus?
Is it Jeff?
He's a tall, skinny white kid with a stubble.
I know he talked about
And he's
Hitler.
got a ha 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 ha, and he does talk about Hitler.
Yep. That dude, so I got off stage and I was like, that was fine.
Yeah,
That was whatever, for my set.
Mhm.
And then I watched him and I was like, fuck, man.
He comes up there with a notebook, like a big old fat, sometimes notebook.
I don't remember if he did or not, but I
Mhm.
don't think it mattered.
Yeah,
He
doesn't always come up with a notebook. It just depends on the day.
just rocked it.
Yeah.
And it fucked me for like a good week and a half. I just kept thinking about it, like it put into perspective where I think I am
Right.
in terms of comedy. I know I'm not like a first time open micer, but I know I'm not wherever the fuck that is.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm blazing my own little trail. I'm getting there.
Of course.
I'm sure that's going to be on the audio.
Oh, definitely.
But
The story's not funny, but yeah.
It was humbling and so not hurtful, but disheartening.
Yeah.
And it just
It's an ego blow. I mean, like,
Yeah.
ultimately, it's an ego blow. It's like going from JV to varsity.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like the very quick analogy is like something like that. It's like a Chicago reference here. It's like when Justin Fields was like, yeah, I don't think the game was all that slow. And then, he's been hit so much he's not playing anymore. So it's like there is a like humbleness that you can either like get to, like come into a thing and be humble, or something will humble you.
Yeah.
Not a lot of options. But I mean, yeah, man, it's like seeing so many people do like I know that it's such a spectrum, and everybody crushes in their own way, and like, but the reaction, everybody wants the same reaction from crowds, right? But like everybody rocks crowds differently, and it really does come down to.
Can I close it?
Yeah, you can close that. And I guess it really just comes down to like how you're going to rock the crowd. Just close it. Just close it. It's how are you going to rock a mic? How are you going to rock a crowd? It's just like again, this is one of those parallels of hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody doesn't rock the crowd like Busta. Raekwon rocks it different. Fucking Eminem, J. Cole, Kendrick, Keem. Like everybody rocks the crowd differently. You just gotta find a way you gonna rock the crowd.
It's funny, I know I was asking you a bunch of stuff and now it's boomeranging back to all about me, but
it's fine. Comedy's comedy, man.
Yeah. That authenticity thing you're talking about, I think that is something that is constantly on my mind, and I don't think I struggle with it. I actually think that I do come off fairly authentic on stage, but authentic off stage, on and off stage. But it's like when I first recognized who you were when you were talking to that other comic of like, you want something. I know I want something. Like I wouldn't ask you to do this podcast if I didn't want
absolutely
something. But I also her voice cuts through the door.
Aspiring comic Audrey McCain, everyone.
Is that her? Oh.
Yeah, that's Audrey.
But I want something. Obviously, this is business. I want something, but at the same time, I was gonna say, I just want friends. Like,
yeah,
this is the most.
No, just it's listen. It's like if you can be authentic, and fuck with people who will be authentic with you in this business, in this industry, they will become your friends. I think that like when Monk was headlining his first show at Zany's, he headlined a show at Zany's. His first headline, like hours, he did like an hour there, and I was like, I gotta go. And just over that time period, I've been able, like, I will talk to him about things because he's my friend, and I don't like bring him up to like flex on what he's done. People can go Google Monk and see what he's done. I talked about Janelle because I'm so proud and like that's happening soon and like that's really exciting. But I don't really talk to her that much. You know what I mean? I have very positive experiences with her. She's given me a lot of compliments about my job and the people that I work with. Shout out to Joey Villagomez, fucking Avi Sanchez, fucking Erica Nicole Clark, Allie Drapos, Antonio Kareem, Skylar Higley. Like these guys all these are all people I heavily fuck with at this club and call friend. And I don't do that lightly because there are people in this industry you'll get along with, but they're not your friend. And they don't have to be.
Yeah.
And it is, I guess, is like creating healthy boundaries is what we're talking about here, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Just Jesus Christ.
Tip your wait staff, everyone. Yeah. Just tip them, give them money.
They deal with so much.
And they'll shut the fuck up. No. I'm just fucking around.
Like, I feel like I can't imagine you've always had a bullshit detector at the level you do now. I would imagine that was a process as well.
Yeah. So like
something happened.
You gotta get, I mean, like, this comes from hip hop. Like, there's been a couple of times when I was making music with people. This is an interesting story. This is one of the stories that made me like the journey of that, because it was like trust no one was the response to it. The response was like can't trust a fucking nobody ever again, right? And I created some meat. I had saved my money, got myself like $150 beat machine. I started making this little beat, wrote this little song.
We're good.
Okay, and I'm like really excited because I'm like, oh, I'm about to fucking make this song. It's gonna be this shit. And I'm like fucking feeling myself. I'm like, yes, I'm gonna fucking So this dude hits me up and he wants me to come into the studio and we lay down this beat with my beat. So he builds this beat with my ads layers. We start recording the chorus that I wrote. We started doing all this stuff. I forget this dude's name, but I was on the west side of Chicago. He gave me an address. He said, man, this has been good work. Thanks for the time. Paid him the little money I had. And I was like getting excited because I was like in a real studio. I'm working on real music. I'm working with real people. I'm doing my whole thing. It's going to be crazy. Here it comes, right? Yeah. So I'm like, it's about to happen for me. He's like, hey, come back tomorrow. Sorry. All right. I go back tomorrow. This nigga's gone. And I don't mean just gone. Like his equipment's gone. The pianos are gone. Everything that was in the studio, gone. Empty. There's nothing in there. He never contacts me again. I don't know what happened with that music. I don't know what happened with that beat. All I know is he took it from me, and I never forgot that shit. And for a long time, that I was just like, I was like very protective of like anything I created. So everything after that was like close to the vest, close to the chest, that whole thing.
How old were you when this happened?
18.
Oh, okay. 18,
19. So like, fuck, 20 years ago. About 20 years ago. That's so crazy. God, that's so long ago. Yeah, and so like after that was just like, okay, I can't trust anybody. Don't fucking do that. And then when I got into social media, I went, I guess at the time would have been called viral. It was like 100-some thousand views for a clip I did with this personality, and it was about Amber Rose and her slut walk, and then like it was like, oh, I'm doing so great, this is gonna be great, and then somebody said they like wrote the content, like wrote the jokes and like all this stuff, and at the media company, and they sold that to get into something else. They're like, I wrote the stuff in it, so they used my writing to get something else outside the media company for cash. So the second time, something was taken from me creatively, and when something is taken away from you creatively, and it's like odd, because like the only way you can prove that you did it is like, I should have wrote it down. I should have had it on my phone. I should have had a document. I should have had this. I should have had these files. I should have backed it up. And now, because I am like that, can't nobody tell me I ain't do some shit. There's not a chance. Not a chance. Like anything that's ever happened to this club, especially, like I have the receipts. I know my worth. I know what I've done, and no one can tell me I didn't. And you can't take it away from me.
That is the knowing your worth thing.
Mm-hmm.
That is something that I think I don't know for myself yet.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
that's interesting.
What do you mean? How so?
Well, because it's interesting because like there's a level of like confidence that has to come with doing comedy. I think getting up on a stage, talking to fucking people, you having to have a conversation ultimately with however many other people in the room takes a bit of confidence. It takes a bit of something that ain't nobody else got, and knowing that you can do it.
Yeah.
It's a level of confidence there that always makes me feel like comics are way more assured than they realize sometimes.
Okay. I guess that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. I think
because it's such a roller coaster. Like what you were saying earlier, like I can do this, I got it, and then you see somebody else do it, and you're like, maybe I don't, maybe I should go home. Like it's, I get the roller coaster of emotion, but overall, I'm like, yeah, the confidence and resilience is definitely one of the key things I see comics have.
I think I lean more into resilience than confidence.
Oh, okay.
Like to me, even after that ego blow, at no point was I ever like I quit.
Yeah.
To me, it is become a successful comic or kill myself.
Right.
And I don't want to kill myself. And so success to me is, can I live off of this in mild comfort?
Right.
At least right now. And then when I get there, I'm sure my bar will get higher.
Yeah.
But, in terms of the worth thing, I don't, especially now after that story, whatever, like now I don't know where I am on the totem pole of things, because I'll go to open mics, and when I go to open mics, especially on the north side, when I go to open mics on the north side, no shade to the north side, but like when I go to open mics on the north side, I'm like, okay, I'm better than most of the people here. It feels like in the sense that I'm this isn't robotic. I don't come off as stilted as most of the comics seem to feel. It feels like the north side is about writing jokes and saying jokes. Yeah. And the south side feels like performance. Yeah. And there's this flow and this energy that comes.
It's like that there's a technical and then there's a creative. It seems like there are these. It's like again, this is such a crazy parallel. It's like Eminem is technical.
Oh yeah.
And Jay-Z is more performance. Because he's telling, like, the way he's like on that 4/4 album, everybody's like quoting that, don't ever go Eric Benet, it's like, but it's not like that's not like a hotline. It's like, but the way he said it, it's just like that performance. Yeah, he's just like, don't go Eric Benet, nigga, don't be that dumb nigga. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, there's like that same thing. It's like Northside seems very technical, and some of the Northside comics are like real technical. Some are like hilarious. Like Alex Stravich is funny. Fucking Chris Higgins, another funny Northside dude. Carly's not here. Carly Kane came to mind, but she's not here. She's in LA. Blake Burhart. Technical. These are like technical joke writers. Joko Gallon is another one, technical joke writer. They're really good joke writers. These are like really good joke writers. Jeannie Dugan, she's a technical joke writer from the North Side. Very funny, and it is about performance, and they do have a little bit of performance to go along with it. It's like above average performance. No show, no tea, no shade. Like I'm just saying, like what I see. But when you see a person like Corey Bell, I don't know if you've seen Corey Bell yet.
I think I know that name. I've heard it.
Corey is a wrecking ball. That is a monster of a comic. She is unreal every time she touches the stage.
Are we talking technical or performance?
Performance-wise, and then her technical ability to write jokes is up there too. It's just that like the performance amps up so much of it. It's another one like that is T. Murph. T. Murph's performance of his jokes, because he's also a great technical joke writer. He has a lot of jokes that and his act outs. I mean, it's just the performance of these jokes are just they're crazy. They're crazy. They blow the roofs off things, and like being a technical joke writer to me seems like it can get you very, very far. And there's like a lot of career success in it. Like you could end up writing for a show. You could be in like, you know, a movie, TV show, writing rooms. But like when you have like a big act like Murph's on Woke Hulu, you know what I mean? Because that performance translates to TV in front of a camera. And that level of performance is hard to find.
I think
I think.
when you say all of these names, and some of these people come to mind, some of these people I've met and I've seen, and I know what you're talking about, and others I don't. But one of the through lines with all of them is that they are their own person. Like we were talking about at the very beginning of this, you make your own comfort and your own little comfort bubble. This is going to be the weirdest comparison, but you know when you play those the games where you're your character, and then there's like a circle, like to indicate like a blue circle around you to indicate where you're moving.
Yeah.
It feels like if those people all have their own little circles around them, no matter what's going on anywhere else, they are them, and there's this comfort there.
Yeah.
And I would imagine when you think about each person, there's this uniqueness and there's this style comedically that you're probably picturing. And I think that's a big part of finding myself and my worth in comedy out here is I don't know. I know what I do is unique relative to the people I've seen. Like before I moved out here, one of the concerns was like, am I not as unique as I think I am? Because where I was from,
that's rough.
Well, yeah, that's what I thought. Where I was from, it wasn't from a small town. I was from like a suburb in the desert, and where I was from, my style was very different than everybody's. And I was like, what if I moved to the big city and I realized like, oh, there's like 30,000 Aaron Chases out here. And I got out here and I was like, no, I'm still very different than everybody, it seems like. But I don't know what it is yet. I'm still chiseling away, trying to figure out like, what am I doing?
Hi, Grace.
Hi. You're good. That's what I love, like the personality, like hearing the laugh cut through here versus Grace, is it?
Yeah.
Grace is like just these unique people. But when I got out here, I realized like, okay, I am doing something different. There is something unique about me as a comedian and my voice, but I don't know what it is. I don't know.
I mean, it's like finding your voice isn't just like what tonality wise, what you sound like. Your voice is like, I think this is funny, but how would I say it?
Right.
It's like always that thing that misses. Like there's one of the things is like translating what you think is funny into your voice and how you would say it is something that I think is a disconnect between like a really good comic and a really great comic. And if you can figure that out, I think you'll be fine, because I feel like if you feel like you're unique enough and you've seen enough comedy in the last 4 months, and if you feel comfortable in saying that, you know,
I think what you just said there is something that just clicked. Actually, I think I'm a good comic. I don't think I'm a great comic. I think that when I get on stage, depending on the situation, probably gonna come out and say, I remember that guy. He was interesting, but I want to get to whatever I can't remember his name, but whatever the fuck.
Jeff Asmus.
Yep. I want that. And that was what I was gonna ask. Okay, so when finally you and Alex both approached me the same night, did you plan on doing that, or was that that just happened?
It just happened.
Can I ask, what do you remember the first time you remembered me in any way?
I want to say because of my job, this is really social media.
That's really hard to.
Because like I've seen faces of comics or like people because they either tag the club or like they show up on an Explorer for us, and I want to say you showed up on the Explorer, the TikTok page for me for some reason, one of the videos you put on TikTok.
Oh,
and I just was like, oh, okay. I mean, like no shade on what how many followers you have or anything like that. I was just like, okay, this is just a comic. But it was like it's like a kind of just like I forget what the content was, but it wasn't like a joke or anything.
No.
It was just like you
Yeah.
doing something. And I just like, all right, I mean, I don't know this person, but that's fine.
Fair enough.
And then later that day, you
Wait,
were here.
I'm sorry. Did that come up because I tagged the Laugh Factory?
I don't know.
Oh, it just came up.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not sure. But you pulled up on the TikTok For You page for Laugh Factory, and that's how I knew you existed.
Oh, cool.
I remember things, and if I don't commit to remembering it, it's still in there. So it's like I was like, when I looked at it, I was like, I've seen you. I've seen this person before. And then somebody brought your name up to me, I think a day after that.
Mm-hmm.
So like I've been hearing your name, I guess is the best way for me to put it, like amongst was it staff, like Alex. Like I said, Alex at one point we did talk. He was like, I was like, Alex was like, hey, you should check this guy out, Aaron Chase. I was like, yeah, I talked to him the other day. I saw him right after his set here or whatever. And he's like, yeah. You should check him out. I'm like, okay. And then that happened to be like, and then I told you that. It was like 3 different people fucking told me about you. So here we are on podcast together. Right. Yeah. So but that would be how, but I would say the way I remember is like TikTok for some reason referring your content to me.
Got you. In my head movies, I was like, yeah, he saw me on stage. He was like, God damn, this nigga hilarious. That's what I mean. Like, I have these fantasies.
Of course.
You remember watching
Grandiose, the grandioseness of it all.
Yeah. In my head,
big movie thing.
You're born in the 80s.
83.
So maybe we had different experience, but I grew up on 90s cartoons specifically.
You ain't have no different experience. What 90s cartoons?
I was thinking like Doug and Hey Arnold specifically.
Doug all day.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't fuck with Hey Arnold like that. Yeah, but
beautiful.
Doug was everything.
Yo,
Go ahead.
Remember when he would be fucking Quail Man,
fucking all this shit. Yeah.
In my head movies, it's just I'm just Quail Man and I'm running around and everyone thinks it's either super positive or super negative.
Yeah.
And it's so funny, like, yeah, I don't know.
No, but I think that's because the hope of the self. We want to see the best versions of ourselves succeeding, whatever that is, whatever we think that looks like. We want that for ourselves. And so like every quote unquote failing, every quote rejection, every L that you got to hold changes that perception. And it's hard to like come to terms with sometimes because you have such a commitment to that image of yourself. Mm-hmm. And so like for me it's like at some point in my life I thought I would be like one of the greatest singers of all time, and then at one point I thought I'd be one of the greatest rappers of all time, and then at one point I thought I would be like this social media influence because of what I was doing at the last place I worked at, be like this internet personality that makes all this content and people fucking start following him on my shit and blah, 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 blah. But like that didn't come to be. I just happened to go viral once there and make some content that worked out for some folks. And now I am helping people do that on their own now. So my story has changed and I'm nowhere near what I thought I would be, but like that's fine. Like I don't feel let down by that.
You seem content, happy.
People have been telling me that recently, and I can't disagree. I can't. Well, because like I'm almost done. Okay.
All
right. So I would just wrap this up on this, and then go ahead and give you the last word. I guess it's just like it got tired of like. Well, because my birthday's tomorrow and I'm turning 38, you like think about like, damn, bro, like you just gonna be like upset that your life is not gonna be what you wanted it to be, or you can kind of like ride the flow of time and ride the flow of the universe and let it do what it believes is best for you. So just do that. And I've been like, all right, cool. And then mushrooms help. You know what I'm saying? Mushrooms fucking make everything for a person with like severe anxiety and like general depression help. So
it puts life into perspective.
Yeah, and it did, but like it's like that attachment. It's like certain attachments you gotta let go, and ego is kind of one of them because that shit'll ruin you.
I eventually? Do you mind if I hit a couple months, maybe even a year from now, we do this again?
Sure.
All right.
Absolutely. And then just go ahead and give you the last word, because if they start letting people in here and they are at capacity, we got to get the fuck up out the way.
You know what? That's the yeah. All right. Till next time.
Till next time, I guess. All right.